It's a bad thing when children bully others. Children learn to be violent because of the example set by adults and other children in their home and in their community. Look at Ricardo bullying Michael. Poor Michael. You can imagine how he feel going to school and knowing that somebody wants to hurt him. Many parents like Mitzi would react and confront the bully. I think we're going to do the right thing, talking over things with the parent. Children can learn to be peacemaker too. We need to be careful of the example we set for our children. I believe each home should be violence-free. What do you think?
Well, a wise man once told me, dealing with hardships is what life is really all about.
That's what Grandpa always said, man.
Cause when everything's nice and everyone's alright, tell you that that is never yet cause no fuss and strife.
Them they are the nice times.
But when things they get rough and decisions are tough, is when we need to take responsibility.
Listen what the man say.
Because it's easy to run or just blame it all on someone. But remember, children, live just what they learn. Then things could be nice, 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 nice every day on Pelican Point.
True, true.
Set us free, then it will bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel, bring out the rebel in me. If the lover in you can touch the lover in me, and the lover in me can touch a lover in you, and the lovers we be will bring sweet harmony. Then it will bring out the love, bring out the love, bring out all the love in me. My love is deeper than the ocean. Our love is in need of sweet devotion. Come on, because you got the portion to bring out the love in me, and I will bring out the love in you. Let the lover in you touch the lover in me, and the river so far so good will touch the rebel in you. Living today, but we don't know what tomorrow brings in this crazy world. People dying like flies every day. You read about it in the news. for fun and their own glory. Yeah. Letting people die for the wrongs that they do. Oh, it's painful. Come on now, little boy, say your prayers before you sleep. Little boy went down on his knees and he said, oh Lord, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. 'Cause he's living in this crazy world. Oh Lord, out of the corner with my roller skates, yeah, having fun with the girls, says I'm feeling great. Whoa, the dark of the night, street lamps glowing on full blast, my radio, ouch, having fun. Out comes this guy in his flashy car. Needed my help, said he lost his way. To find some street, said he wanted instructions. So I turned down the music to point out directions. Guess what? I jumped on, messed up my, yes he did, smashed and grabbed my radio. Calling all detectives, a criminal at large, smoking a big fat cigarette in a flashy car, and think him some superstar. Hey, life without music, I can't go. Life without music, I can't go. I'm gonna get him. Last thing I do, must get a beating till he red and blue. Didn't take long to catch him. Parked up car and music blasting. On the sidewalk he was dancing, stealing the show. The people watching. Roller skate gang was hard on his tracks. Stick it up, mister. Give me back, give me back, give me back, give me back my radio. Guys jumped on me, messed up my clothes, smashed and grabbed my radio. Calling all detectives, tell them I'm criminal at large.
No, no, no. You don't love me, and I know now. No, no, no. You don't love me, yes, I know now. 'Cause you left me, baby, and I've got no place to go now. No, no, no. I'll do anything you say, boy.
place of you. But it's just the feel within me when you touch my hand, and the fear that shakes my body, and I don't understand, so I'm leaving. This time I'm playing it soft. I'm gonna walk away from love before love breaks my heart.
She says the blitz is intended to provide the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine to the more than 600 Jamaicans who received their first dose of the vaccine in March and have a due date of June 5. Persons who are 65 years and older are allowed to be accompanied by one caregiver at the vaccination site. Persons wishing to be vaccinated are reminded that they must make an appointment through the ministry's website at www.moh.gov.jm or through the National Vaccination Hotline at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. 3,000 hotel rooms are to be built over the next few months. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett made the confirmation while speaking at a recent virtual groundbreaking ceremony for the new Sandals Duns River Resort in St. Anne. The minister also said that he recently concluded arrangements with Spain for another 1,000 rooms. He said that of the 1,000 rooms, 700 will be constructed in Richmond and another 280 rooms in Montego Bay. In the meantime, Mr. Bartlett indicated that Jamaica's tourism sector is undergoing a renewal process and that this new tourism is going to drive a greater level of inclusiveness that will further benefit the local economy. Talks are ongoing between the government and stakeholders in the entertainment industry aimed at agreeing on protocols that could facilitate a limited reopening of the industry during the summer. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the disclosure in Parliament this week.
I would like to address the entertainment community. This government does not see entertainment as only fun. We understand that entertainment is an industry. It is a business for many, and they have invested heavily in their business. We have tried to find ways within the public health science to accommodate these kinds of events and gatherings. I want to say to the entertainment community, now is the time to plan. Now is the time to develop a new strategy for delivering your product. Because when the lockdown over, I don't think you're going to have a hand to manage parties and concerts. I don't want the entertainment sector to feel that there is no sympathy for them or that we are blaming them. That is not the case. The nature of their industry is such that we just have to be very careful with it. I personally believe that there are some measures that can be put in place. The question is whether or not those measures would make the business economically viable. And so greater thought needs to be put into that. There are persons who say, well, just only approve open-air events. Just keep them within the time of the curfew. Everyone who goes in, they have to take a rapid test. Or, you know, they have all kinds of modalities and strategies that are being proposed.
Under the new COVID-19 containment measures announced by the Prime Minister on Tuesday, the ban on events such as concerts, parties, tailgate parties and round robins will continue until June 30.
What the pandemic has revealed is that we need to reconfigure our society. We need to sit with the stakeholders and say we can build a new Jamaica, a Jamaica in which your entertainment can be accommodated, and if you want to party from 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. the next day, well, let us find a space for you to do that. On Saturday, I had a very useful meeting with some representatives of the entertainment sector. We intend to have a series of such meetings in the coming week, up to next week, and that will include cinema operators, party promoters, selectors, all the stakeholders, because we did it the last time. They put protocols, they suggested protocols, ODPM worked with them, Ministry of Local Government worked with them, the Minister of Entertainment. We came up with a plan, but it wasn't always followed strictly. This time we're going to go through
totally
another
virtual Caribbean Heritage Organizations. Salute to Hollywood and the arts, video arts that we'll be having. This has been quite a year for all of us, and I'm glad that we're able to do something at least virtual this year. Next year, we're hoping, we're still not going to get take the virtual out, but next year we're hoping to be in person for the gala and do some of this virtual. I want to thank everybody for their support and for the encouragement. This was something that we actually planned at the last minute because we know that it had to get done as the world was opening out. And we really appreciate those, all the emails and the texts and the phone calls that we've gotten for support of this. My name is Myra Herman, and I am the founder and the executive director for the Caribbean Heritage Organization. And this evening, I would like to, there's many people to thank, but first and foremost, and I don't want anybody to get this twisted. I'm not comparing what I'm going through to what the soldiers went through in a foxhole, but putting on an event is, to me, is compared to whether it's live or online like this one is. It's compared to soldiers in a foxhole where they say that there's no atheists. And I'm telling you, first and foremost, I want to thank the God Almighty for where we are today and that we're able to do this. It's only Him who could have made this so possible. And I would like to thank the Barbados, the Government of Barbados, and Barbara Bullard with the Shirley Chisholm Social, I'm sorry, guys, the Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute for trusting me with their name and their reputation to put this on. This is a very big trust, and I thank you guys for doing that. I also would like to thank the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism. They've been with me forever from inception, and every year, Dean Fenton and his team have supported us on this. I really, really, truly appreciate it. The Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. as well. They were big supporters this year, and for obvious reasons. And I really appreciate their support. The Bob Marley, the Bob Marley Foundation. Thank you very much for every year too. You guys have stepped up and helped us out. And I cannot forget the Jamaica Tourist Board. Thank you guys so much. When I called on you guys, there was no question this year, even though I said we're going virtual, maybe we'll be doing it. The answer was yes, and I really, really appreciate Diane Holland and Donnie and everyone there, Paulette and everyone there, the staff that really helped put this together. There are a few other people that persons really that I really need to thank. There's Chetwin Rice he works for CMC, who's our partner on this, our media partner in this. Chetwin Rice has been, oh my goodness, night and day. I think for a while there he forgot what time zone I'm on, that I'm 3 hours behind. So he would call me at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, thinking, but making sure everything is going right. Did you hear from this? Did you hear from that? Chetwin, thank you so much for this. Corey Lane, thank you so much in the Prime Minister's office for putting this all together. And my tech team, Austin Kwan. Austin, thank you so very much. You and your team, you helped to keep me somewhat calm. I wish you guys were here with me right now so you could keep even calmer than I'm right now. And Marlon Griffiths. Marlon, he is related to me. That's my nephew Marlon. He did all the web work and all that and get my head together and tell me, okay, auntie, slow down. This is what you want. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Marlon, thank you so much for all of that. And last but not least, and I'm sure that, I hope there's nobody else that I've forgotten, but no, not quite last but not least, there is Dorothy McLeod with the Jamaican Cultural Alliance. Dorothy is one of those other people too, and her team are those that really rallied behind us here to get the word out and to encourage and say, you can do it, you know, you can do it, Marva, do it, just do it. And then there is Denise Gardner. Denise Gardner has been with us since '06 when we were at the mayor's office, and when things were going all wrong there, and she was crawling under tables to find outlets and things to put it in. One of my dear friends, she just came out of the hospital having a heart transplant last month, and she was able to help me tie things together here to this evening. And Denise, I'm glad you're out. I get very emotional when I talk about this because it was a heart transplant that she had to have, and it was an emergency one. And I think that's just about it. So thank you guys again very much. And now I'd like to introduce to you Marcel Greenidge. She's a member of the Bajan and Friends for Health and Education here in Los Angeles, and she will give us the prayer, the opening prayer.
Good evening, everyone. Before I do my prayer, I always like to ask my congregation or my audience to hold someone's hand. If you cannot hold someone's hand and you're alone, just put your hands up like I am. The reason why I do this is because we do not know the person's hand that we're holding if we're able to see them again. So in this case, you can always say, if you held your hand and held someone else's hand, you can say, you know what, the last thing I remember was holding Marva's hand or holding Barbara's hand. So this is what I like to do. And this evening, this is very, very special, a very special evening for me. I have never done this on Zoom before, so I hope everything goes well. And I would like you to bow your heads in prayer as I say the prayer this afternoon. Today is a very special day. I first want to thank the Almighty God for our lives, our friends, and our families who have been spared from this pandemic. And to remember the thousands of Americans. As I listen to the news today, there's 600,000 Americans so far. And there are the people around the world that this pandemic has claimed. We thank you, dear God, for the healthcare workers, the first responders, for our everyday citizens who fought hard to keep our sick families and friends alive and also comforted. We thank you, dear God. Today, we appreciate the life and legacy of our dear sister, Shirley Chisholm, who paved the way for many and all women to say, yes, I am capable of reaching the stars. Her famous words were, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. So I have my folding chair here with me. I have brought it to the table. To the awardees for your accomplishments in theater, in art, and in music, you have completed what you set out to do. We thank you, dear God, for the work this organization is doing, Caribbean Heritage. It has been showcasing the legacy and the talents of many Caribbean people. It brings it to the forefront. So tonight, also today, it depends on where we are, may God continue to bless you and keep you safe throughout the coming year. In Jesus' name, amen.
I did that already. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Marcel. Now, I mentioned the sponsors before, but I would like to mention them again because they really made this happen. It was hard to raise funds during these times, and the Barbados government, the Barbados Tourist Board, the Jamaica Tourist Board, and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. They really made this possible. So please, let's take a look at what they have to offer us in these islands.
Jamaica.
Best decision ever.
Feel the sand between your toes and the gentle waves of the sea on your skin. Feel the warm Jamaican breeze lift your spirits and nourish your soul. Escape to exactly what makes your heart beat. You will love every moment. Jamaica, heartbeat of the world. Let's go.
started as far as 160 AD, when the Caribs and the Arawaks first settled Suriname Guyana, and Venezuela along the banks of the Orinoco River. Because of food scarcity, the Arawak decided that they will leave the banks of the river and went to settle the Caribbean, where they settled the Greater Antilles of Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. In 1220 AD, the Carib decided to follow, and they intermarried with the Arawak, and the name was changed to Island Carib, where they chose to settle the Lesser Antilles of Martinique, Dominique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. In 1635, they have two Spanish ships bringing West African captives to be enslaved in the Caribbean. Unfortunately, the ship wrecked near Beckwith, St. Vincent, and the survivors of the ship intermarried with the Arawak Caribbean Indians, and the name was changed to Garinagu, who we are, speaking the Garifuna language.
Wasn't it wonderful, guys? Every year when we have our event here live, we invite that dance troupe here to perform, because how can you have a Caribbean American Heritage Month celebration without real Carib people there? And the Garufanas from Belize, they're all over South America and parts of the Caribbean, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They are a mixture of African and Arawak and Carib blood. And so their performance every year is always great to kick off Caribbean American Heritage Month for us. Have you ever had one of those friends that when the phone rings or the text goes off, that you just don't want to pick up the phone because you know that they're going to come up with some harebrained ideas? Well, that was what happened in 1997 when Dr. Claire Nelson from the Institute of Caribbean Studies called me again with another harebrained idea. And she said, Marva, we have to get this done. I need you out there in Los Angeles. Get folks into to call their congressman. We need a National Caribbean American Heritage Month. And that was how I got got involved with this. She dragged me in. It took us several years, but in 2006, a joint congressional resolution established June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month through my long friend, Dr. Nelson, who's the architect and the big dreamer that brought this to life. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Claire Nelson.
I'm Dr. Claire Nelson, founding president of the Institute of Caribbean Studies and convening chair of the campaign for June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. Friends and family all, I am privileged and pleased to offer a tribute to the Honorable Shirley Chisholm as we celebrate this 16th official outing of June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. We celebrate June because Caribbean Americans like Shirley Chisholm have contributed much to the economic, social, and cultural fabric that forms the tapestry of this our great country. When we think of Shirley Chisholm, we often think of the fact that this little woman of Caribbean heritage had so many firsts in her political career, a life that should inspire us. Her love for education and her people saw her gravitate to teaching as her first career, and that love would not wane. It was that love that led her to a political career, first in the state legislature. It was that love and redistricting in Brooklyn that inspired her run for Congress, where her advocacy was purposeful. She intended to represent her people, and so, when first assigned to the Agricultural Committee, she articulated that she could not help Brooklyn from that seat, and so was reassigned to Veterans Affairs and then on to Education and Labor. Unbought and unbossed, Miss Chisholm once said, I want history to remember me, not as the first Black woman to have made a bid for the presidency of the United States, but as a Black woman who lived in the 20th century and who dared to be herself. I want to be remembered as a catalyst for change in America. Her efforts provided a foundation for another woman of Caribbean heritage to now be seated as our current Vice President, Kamala Harris. Shirley Chisholm taught us that we don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. We make progress by implementing ideas. And so, as we celebrate Caribbean American Heritage Month, let us seek to emulate our Shiro, who taught us the true meaning of servant leadership. Let us celebrate her life as we celebrate June. I thank you.
Thank you, Claire. You know, this 5'2", I like to call her the 5'2" Tower of Power. In Jamaica, we say Chilikobachitalawa. This Shirley Chisholm, she has left us quite a legacy. There's a psychological, there's a sociological legacy that she's left us to to think, how to act, and the other and how to achieve. The other legacy that she has left us is the Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute. This institute, it was so named after her because she wanted it that way. It's in the records in Congress, and during this time we need to recognize that institute that she has started, and and to support the president of that institute now, Barbara Bullard. She has taken on the lead to continue this legacy, and I'm hoping that you all will be, go on the website and support it. And here's Barbara.
Thank you so much, Marva. It's wonderful working with you. It's wonderful working with the organization. We're quite excited about this partnership. The Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute, also known as SCCI, was founded in 1977 with the permission of Ms. Chisholm herself in its inception. It was a network of women from all walks of life that kept Ms. Chisholm in touch with the community and its concerns, building on educational and cultural advancements. I am proud to say it's been a labor of love for me for almost 2 decades, working to ensure that Congresswoman Chisholm's legacy lives, mentored by the late Bill Howard, Chisholm's campaign finance manager and personal confidant. The Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute is now developing programming, leading our community into sustainability and empowerment. Our primary goal of the Institute is to preserve the legacy of Congresswoman Chisholm through the initiatives cultivated in 1977 with 21st century activism and innovation. The Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute presents Time for Shirley Chisholm, directed by Maz Mendez, produced by B. Bullard LLC and the Mazelstedt Company, with the voiceover of award-winning actress, Anika Noni Rose.
There are people in our country's history who don't look left or right, they just look straight ahead. And Shirley Chisholm was one of those people. Driven by a profound commitment to justice, she became the first African-American congresswoman, the first African-American woman from a major political party to run for president. When Shirley was assigned to the House Agricultural Committee, despite the fact that her district was from New York City, she said, apparently all they know here in Washington about Brooklyn is that a tree grew there. But she made the most of her new role, helping to create the supplemental nutrition program that feeds poor mothers and their children. Shirley Chisholm's example transcends her life, and when asked how she'd like to be remembered, she had an answer. I'd like them to say that Shirley Chisholm had guts. And I'm proud to say it. Shirley Chisholm had guts.
Acting under the mandate of the United States Court of Appeals, the Federal Communications Commission has ordered the Columbia Broadcasting System to provide Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm with 1/2 hour of prime airtime. The following broadcast is presented in compliance with that order. The program was recorded from 9:30 to 10 on Sunday morning, June 4th.
Good evening, I'm Nat Hentoff, moderator of tonight's press panel, Time for Shirley Chisholm. For the next half hour, we'll be talking with the first woman candidate for the presidency of the United States. Because there are no CBS newsmen on this panel, by decision of CBS, I want to make clear that each of us is here as a working journalist to interview Congresswoman Chisholm as we would any other candidate. I have no idea whether any of the members of this panel supports Ms. Chisholm's candidacy. I, for instance, though I wish her well, will be voting for another in the New York State primary.
Why do you think you can do this?
When a moment has arrived in history for a certain thing, there's no one that can stop that moment, I believe. And I want everyone to clearly understand that although I am a black woman, that I'm a very qualified woman. I'm a holder of 4 college degrees plus 10 points from a PhD in education and administration. I mention these things to you to let you know that yes, it is true I'm black, and it is true I'm a woman, but that when you begin to compare me with some of the other candidates that are running, I have very high qualifications.
Do you expect to get the blessing of the Democratic Party?
Oh, I think it's quite well known that I don't enter most things with the blessings of any party. I think it's quite well known. Anybody who's followed my political career knows very, very keenly that I am the only unbought and unbossed politician. And I mean that literally. And I think that you have to recognize that because I am not white, and because I'm not a male, that I am not going to get the blessings of the power structure in this country. So I think we're fooling ourselves when that question is asked of me in terms of whether I'm going to get their blessings. Of course I'm not going to get their blessings. I stand before you today as a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States of America. I am not the candidate of Black America, although I am black and proud. I am not the candidate of the women's movement of this country, although I am a woman, and I'm equally proud of that. I am not the candidate of any political bosses or fat cats or special interests. I am the candidate of the people of America.
What do you think of Ms. Chisholm running for presidency?
White man ain't gonna let her be the president, never. If she will become a president, she wanna last.
Well, way I'm pushing that we will have a black president this coming term. And the next term, next 4 years, I'm wishing that we have a next. I'm gonna vote for everyone. Every one of them. I'm pushing forward for that. I want to see today. If I don't see it, I want some of my kids and grandkids to see it.
I think she is the only candidate that offers anything to me. She said more that I can relate to than any other candidate I've heard so far. I haven't heard them in person, but I've heard them on Meet the Press, and I've heard them, read what they said in the newspaper. And I like what she says, and I think she's got guts.
Well, I think she has very much a chance of being president if she can get the nomination. This business of the primaries and the delegates is something else again. But I think she's offering all of America, including white men, something that they haven't had a chance at for a long time, which is an honest candidate.
You're going to vote for her?
I certainly would.
Do not forget tomorrow's Democratic primary. Vote for the Chisholm slate, the unborn candidate. For the Chisholm slate, the unborn candidate.
And they don't understand that something new is happening in America. And this campaign, the Shirley Chisholm campaign, is the note of the new politics. The rest of it is just making tired old noises, I can't get excited about any of it. I am excited about Shirley Chisholm's candidacy.
Oh, thank you. Our city commissioner. On behalf of the city of Sarasota, we welcome you here. We got something you can wear and remember our beautiful city here.
No se olviden de votar mañana en las primarias, el 20 de junio. Voten para los candidatos de Shirley Chisholm. Right on, brothers.
Before we begin, let me take just a moment to say that ABC News originally had invited Senator McGovern and Senator Humphrey, the two leading candidates for the Democratic presidential nomination, to appear on this program. Friday night, the Federal Appeals Court in Washington, D.C. ruled that Mrs. Chisholm must also be invited to participate.
From the panel, Mary Breasted.
Mrs. Chisholm, Bella Abzug has called your candidacy a symbolic one in her book. Do you agree with that?
Well, it may be symbolic in terms of the fact that never before in the history of this country has a woman seriously run for the candidacy for the presidency of this country. So therefore, from that standpoint, it has to be regarded as symbolic. But in addition to possibly being symbolic, since a woman is running very seriously and has been doing that for the past 7 months, although many people don't want to accept this fact, I think it is a real candidacy because I would not have been going all over this country for 7 months, as contrasted to some gentleman who only started about 4 months ago running for the presidency of this country just merely for my health.
But yet you have gotten only really 3% of the popular vote. What has kept you in?
I think what has kept me in is because nobody knows what's going to happen at the convention.
That question, Mrs. Chisholm, forget the personality. If your own candidacy for the top spot should fail, would you actively seek to be on the ticket? Are you now saying that you think you could serve as Vice President of the United States, strengthening the ticket?
I could serve as President of this country, believe it or not.
NBC News reports the 1972 Democratic Convention.
Shirley takes the agendas from the Women's Power Movement and the Black Power Movement to the convention in the hopes of shaping a unified Democratic Party platform. The two movements, while fighting for many of the same rights, can only see their differences. Shirley is too black for the women and too female for the men. But Shirley continues the fight for the people. Do you personally support?
I have considered Senator McGovern the best white male candidate.
They dissipate in the potential of black delegate strength at the convention if you come here and try to run a black in a symbolic protest campaign, and that's about what Shirley Chisholm's campaign will amount to.
Sure. There's one point that I would like to make, because many people come to the political arena raising the question of whether you can win or lose, and that's an important issue. What happens if Shirley Chisholm does or does not win the California primary? I personally think that Shirley Chisholm can win, particularly in a 4 or 5 person split. I think the potential is very great and very possible, and the point is we've got to get it into people's heads that it is possible for Shirley Chisholm to win. And we're talking about striking out in a whole new course politically in this country if we're going to make it a viable society for people. And so Shirley Chisholm's campaign and candidacy, in my estimation, takes that next serious step. And if we get hung up with the, the psychological genocide that says, well, gee, we can't win. The point is, they told me when I announced it I was crazy, but we won. And the point is, if people really are serious about putting a new kind of alternative out there, then Shirley Chisholm's candidacy, in my estimation, says put up or shut up. And that's an important point.
Burn myself up with what I see, and it makes me more determined than ever to see if I can't conquer it. And I know I can't conquer it, but, it's deep with me. It's not, it's intense, it's deep. I see too much suffering. And then I want to tell these politicians around here, they don't care. They don't care.
Her goal was to gather enough delegates to negotiate advancements for black people, Latinos, gays, and women. She almost got enough. But as the tension at the convention rose, even her greatest supporters turned away.
Dellins, I know he has supported in recent months the candidacy of Congresswoman Chisholm out of conviction, out of the same kind of sincerity that he brings to this endorsement of my candidacy here today.
Black politicians are no different from the white politicians. They've made their deals, they've made their contracts because they didn't believe that Mrs. Chisholm knows how to maneuver or what have you. That has always been their problem with me. Don't pay her any mind. But, you know, you can't wish me away. You can't.
Was daring to run worth it?
Of course, it's very important if someone dares to run to let everybody else in America knows that the presidency of this country is not the exclusive domain of just white males. There are other kinds of people that make up America that need to have some input on the highest level. And of course, if you're going to break that tradition, you've got to have courage and you've got to have guts. And so therefore, because I've always had courage and I've always had guts, I dare to run. It's as simple as that.
The American dream. But it's not only the women and the blacks, it's also the Indians.
Who is the American dream set up for? Who was it set up for? All Americans? Supposedly. So there it is. Supposedly. What does the Constitution used to say? A Negro was what? 3/5 of a man.
Yeah, women couldn't vote till 1920.
Whose fault was that? Who ran the country? It's about time that the minority people came into being, right? All right, then. Therefore, I say vote for Shirley Chisholm.
Hello, and welcome to the 2021 Caribbean Heritage Month Festival. My name is Monica Adeako.
And my name is Michaela Adeako.
And we're both members of the illustrious sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Michaela here is my legacy.
Yes, we are so grateful to this community for honoring Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman who was ever elected into Congress and the first Black woman to ever run for president. I'm sure as many of you know, her mother was an immigrant from Barbados.
Very accomplished individual. We also want to thank you for recognizing our sorority sister, Vice President Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the very first Black woman and woman of Indian descent to hold the position of Vice President of the United States of America. We're also here to celebrate her accomplishments and to recognize her Jamaican heritage.
Again, we thank you all so much for your time and hope that you have an amazing time at the festival. Please enjoy and have a great day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Greetings, my name is Aisha Kamashong. I'm a Barbadian dancer, choreographer, lecturer at the University of the West Indies Cave campus, and I'm also the founder and artistic director of the Barbadian dance collective Rhythm Tribe. Now, as you might well imagine, I was extremely humbled, honored, and ecstatic when I was selected to conceptualize and choreograph this tribute to the Black female icon, Shirley Chisholm. Now, this dance work celebrates Shirley Chisholm's connections to Barbados, as well as her contributions to making and inspiring multiple breakthroughs for women, especially Black women, in areas of traditional male dominance. Now, the world knows of Shirley Chisholm's history-making exploits in the USA, but she was also a source of great inspiration right here in her maternal homeland of Barbados. Indeed, the existing statues of several of our outstanding male Barbadian leaders tell their own story of glass ceilings that needed to be broken right here in Barbados as well. And definitely, Shirley Chisholm's example was an inspiration to many Barbadian women. Indeed, several of our female trailblazers were impacted by Miss Chisholm's oft-repeated advice: if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a fold-in chair. And in fact, no less than our very own first female head of government, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley, cites Shirley Chisholm as an inspiration to her. So, this then is Rhythm Tribe's tribute to our Shirley, unbought and unbossed.
The trip took 9 days on the rough Atlantic, all the way to Bridgetown, Barbados. I still remember arriving. We boarded the bus to ride to the village of Vauxhall where we were going to live. Grandmother decided it was time for me to start in the village school. Years later, I would know what an important gift my parents had given me with my early education in the schools of Barbados. If I speak and write easily now, that early education is the main reason. Granny gave me strength, dignity, and love. I learned from an early age that I was somebody.
Hi, everyone. Just as an update, for those who watched the wonderful video that we provided, there were some live stream technical difficulties with our video, but rest assured it will be fixed. And during the repost of the full-length stream, you will be able to see in full entirety Time for Shirley Chisholm. Thank you.
Good evening. As Barbados' ambassador to the United States, it gives me the greatest of pleasure to introduce to you the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley. On May 24th, 2018, Prime Minister Motley became the 8th Prime Minister of Barbados and our first female Prime Minister. It's therefore important that at an event like this, to celebrate a champion of the unbossed and unbought, that Prime Minister Motley should address you. Good evening and thank you.
Good evening all. As the leader of a small developing nation in 2021, paying tribute to a woman whose contribution to our world I don't think we've quite come to appreciate fully, I can't help but wonder if somehow Shirley Chisholm possessed a crystal ball. How else can one explain in today's context the absolute relevance of that famous statement that she made 2 generations ago? If they won't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. At that time, Shirley Chisholm was referring to the challenges faced by blacks, by women and other minorities in the United States. Today, many of the prejudices that drove them still exist, regrettably, for too many of us. As small, vulnerable nations, we are being constantly deprived of that coveted seat at the table. And yes, if we are to overcome the challenges of being ignored or being treated as though we're invisible on matters that are critical to our capacity to flourish, then as small nations, we must take her advice and bring our own folding chair. We have no choice, my friends, but to be bold. That never-say-die spirit that allowed us to survive the harshest trials that history could throw at us must once again enable us to grab our folding chairs and camp out on the steps of those who seek to deny us what is rightfully ours as equal partners. In the face of COVID-19 and all the inequalities that it has thrown up and exposed, the climate crisis, and indeed the impact on the least offenders being denied access to the concessionary funding that is needed to fight the climate crisis, we cannot allow ourselves to continue to be treated as though we are invisible. No, not when we've had her experience, her example, and we're now guided by her legacy. Not when we know that we as people of African descent are made of the same spirit that breathed into her, the fire in her belly, as we would say here, and created the woman that we celebrate and honor today. I am delighted by this opportunity to say how much we appreciate what she has done for women, people of color, for the Caribbean region, and of course for the United States of America. She was a kindred spirit who made us proud, all, whose achievements gave voice to our dreams and aspirations, and who today, her message is still as relevant as it was 50 years ago. Shirley Anita St. Hill, as she was born, is as West Indian a name as they come. She spent, yes, her formative years in Barbados. In recalling her parents' decision to send her to Barbados to her Barbadian grandmother, she remarked, and I quote, "Granny gave me strength, dignity, and love. I learned from an early age that I was somebody. I didn't need the Black Revolution to tell me that," unquote. That is a statement that many of us in Barbados are familiar with because many of our grandparents and our parents have reinforced that in us. For me, it is even more special because I spent 2 years living with my grandmother in the district right next to the district where Shirley Chisholm was raised. I in Sergeant's Village, she in Vauxhall. And indeed, that message was as clear to me then as I'm sure it was to her. And for that, I felt that we had a special relationship because that's what little girls are made of when they see people that resonate with them and reflect their dreams and aspirations. But she wasn't only Bajan, and it wasn't only Barbadian values that shaped her. She was a Caribbean woman. In many respects, the Jamaican activism that she was exposed to in her politics of her father who, by the way, was an ardent supporter of Marcus Garvey. And this background, therefore, of how she was raised and what she was exposed to in terms of activism, coupled with her immense oratorical skills and her immense courage, made her entry, I believe, into politics and representation inevitable. Any analysis of her experiences broadens our understanding of the role that black immigrants, and in particular female immigrants, played in shaping both the politics and the institutions of the United States of America. Her entry into Congress in 1968 as the first black woman was an audacious step with massive import for the subsequent participation of black women in American politics at the highest level. At that time, Shirley Chisholm is best described as a catalytic force driving the changing face of American political interaction. As I said, I believe that her influence on me was not only as a little girl, but over the course of the 30 years that I've been in public life, I've had cause to use many of her statements, but the one that I've kept closest to me is the simple one, 3 words: unbought and unbossed. My friends, it has served me well. 49 years later, when President Biden chose Kamala Harris as his vice presidential running mate, he validated Shirley Chisholm's vision. I want to salute Vice President Harris for acknowledging the trailblazing path which Shirley Chisholm laid for her, as I know it did for me and many others to follow. There is no doubt that Vice President Harris, in winning her seat at the table, will build on this amazing legacy. However, that has not signaled in any way the end of an era of the folding chair. Remember, it is not a historical artifact. The fight, my friends, regrettably, is still very much alive. I want to congratulate, therefore, Madam Vice President, yourself, for as Shirley Chisholm did, you stand as a light to brighten the path for all women, old and young, regardless of where they are in the world, regardless of where they have come from, but recognizing that that example shall inspire all of those little girls, just as the example of Shirley Chisholm inspired me as a young Barbadian girl in a district next to the one in which she was raised. I pray that the spirit of Shirley Chisholm shall long live within us, and that she may inspire another generation of young girls to reach the very, very highest heights. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diane Holland, and I'm the Western United States Business Development Manager for the Jamaica Tourist Board. We are so delighted to participate in this wonderful event to celebrate 2 Caribbean American trailblazers. It is my honor to present the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica.
My fellow Jamaican and Caribbean nationals, I am delighted to join you in celebrating National Caribbean American Heritage Month. I am extremely proud of the remarkable contribution made by Caribbean nationals to the United States in various spheres, shaping the economic, social, cultural, and political landscape of their adopted homeland in so many ways. From the classroom to the boardroom, from the corporate world to the hallowed halls of Capitol Hill, our nationals continue to demonstrate that unconquerable rhythm of the Caribbean spirit. Jamaicans and Caribbean nationals at home and abroad beam with pride at the ascension of the Honorable Kamala Harris to the office of Vice President of the United States. We wholeheartedly congratulate her and wish her every success in discharging her duties at this critical juncture in U.S. history. It is with great pride that I also pay tribute to former Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, daughter of immigrants from Guyana and Barbados and wife of Jamaican Conrad Chisholm. The late Shirley Chisholm holds the distinction of being the first black woman to be elected to Congress in 1968, the first black majority party candidate to run for President of the United States, and the first woman ever to run for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination in 1972. The Honorable Shirley Chisholm ran a pivotal and catalytic leg in the relay of political change in America. We are proud to see the baton now successfully passed on to the capable hands of another outstanding woman of Caribbean roots, the distinguished Madam Vice President, the Honorable Kamala Harris. I thank you.
That was my Prime Minister, folks. Anyway, we have some giveaways here that Ziggy Marley and the Tough Gun Worldwide has donated for some very smart people in the audience. And unfortunately, because of my background, you cannot see the very lovely picture painting here of Bob Marley, different expressions, singing. You know how he gets very into what he's saying, the heartache, the everything that he expressed in his music. It's about 4 feet long and 1 foot across. It's long. And how we're going to do this is I'm going to ask a question, and the first person to put in the chat the correct answer will get this. And please make sure you give the chat person your mailing address so that we can mail it to you. So the first thing we're going to have is a Bob Marley 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 feet canvas painting. And the question is, the first question is, here with me here. The first question is, where did Shirley Chisholm attend school in Barbados? What was the name of her school? Okay, so make sure that you the first person that responds correctly. It's really a nice painting. It shows all the, how Bob Marley, when he sang and about the pain that his people went through, and we all, and and we don't want no more trouble, and no woman no cry, right, Diane Holland from the Jamaica Tourist Board? All of that wonderful stuff, all that is in this lovely painting, and if nobody gets it, I get to keep it. And I want to thank Ziggy Marley and his family. They've been supporting us for many years now, and this is from the Tough Gun Worldwide collection. I'm so sorry that you can't see it because it's absolutely lovely, 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 lovely. Denise, do we have a winner yet? What school did Shirley Chisholm attend when she lived in Barbados? That's an easy one. Barbara, was that in your movie? I don't remember that was in your movie. Okay, all right. It looks like we have a winner here. The winner is Donna Franklin. Congratulations, Donna Franklin. Make sure you get your address, your mailing address to Denise Gardner. Oh, the correct answer is Vauxhall Primary School. Vauxhall, yes. Oh, yes. And yeah. Okay, so the next giveaway that we have, and once again, unfortunately, my background doesn't permit this. It's a Bob Marley child's okay. So it's a Bob Marley child's T-shirt. It's a size 8 medium, and it's black with. Oh, good. I think you can see the Bob Marley's picture on the screen there, and the background is black. It's a child's size 8, which is a medium. And the question is, what college did she attend in New York? Oh, oops, that's too much. I gave you too much of a clue there. What college did she attend? And she is Shirley Chisholm. It's a lovely shirt for whenever I don't know if my kids are listening and my daughter's in love, for when I get a grandchild. So, Denise, do we have any takers yet? If not, I get to keep it in my chest, my hope chest for my grandchildren. And I think we may have someone. Okay, Maria Collins. Looks like Maria Collins is the person that guessed, well, I don't think she guessed, I think she knew that it was Brooklyn College. Thank you, Maria. And don't forget to get your information to Denise. And thank you guys for playing. We have some more giveaways later on. And thanks again to Tough Gun Worldwide and the Ziggy Marley family very much. I am.
Thank you, Marva. And on behalf of our Caribbean community, let me thank you for elevating our ancestral giant, Miss Shirley Chisholm, who left us with many gems, one of which is, if they won't give you a seat at the table, bring your folding chair. And as you see, I'm ready with my folding chair. When Luther Powell and Maud McCoy Powell left their island home of Manchester, Jamaica, bound for Harlem, New York, little did they know what impact this act would have on our history. It is because of this why today I have the pleasure to introduce to you someone special, a great achiever who also earned many accolades. He was the first African American and the youngest person to hold the office of Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staffs, as well as the first African American to be Secretary of State. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you retired 4-star General Colin L. Powell.
Good evening, everyone. This is General Colin Powell, and it's a great pleasure for me to be with you this evening. Dorothy, I thank you for your kind and generous introduction. And I also want to thank the Caribbean Heritage Organization for putting this evening together. It's an important evening for all of us who are here, but especially for the two women that we will be honoring in the course of the afternoon and evening. And I want to let you know, I didn't miss anything. I brought my folding chair, and it folds. Great pleasure to be with you. I want to talk about where I came from. I came out of Harlem, where I was born, and then I went on to the Bronx, where I was raised. But it started as a Jamaican background, as something my parents gave me. Both of my parents are Jamaican subjects. They came out of Jamaica in the 1920s. They got jobs here in New York City. And in New York City, they were able to make a living. And they were able to raise two children, me and my sister. My sister went on to become a very, very prominent teacher out in California. I became a soldier. I became a soldier because it's something that fit with me and something I wanted to do for the country and to serve with young people who were going into the military. It's important to understand, however, that when I became a soldier, I went into the Army with certain instructions from my family. And my mother said, my father said, you know, we want you to do your very, very best at all times. Do you understand that? We expect you to do your very, very best. Because you could get in trouble in the South Bronx. And when they were through with that, they said, but here's the most important thing. Don't do anything ever that shames the family. And that was the Jamaican tradition. Never shame this family. We are proud of ourselves. We're proud of you. We're proud of the country we are now part of. We're a part of the country that we left in Jamaica. And we have to make sure that we never do anything that shames our family in any way. We count on you to hold that tradition for us. And I worked hard to do it. For the 35 years I was in the Army, the 4 years I was Secretary of State, and with all the people that I served in all those many, many years. It is very, very important for us to understand that this is an essential part of being a good citizen, being a good soldier, a good teacher, a good politician. And I'm so pleased that I'm with some significant people this evening who have followed in that same kind of tradition, that same ritual. We have Shirley Chisholm, who many, many years ago, she was a little bit ahead of me, but I was not that far behind her. But she didn't take anything from anybody. She just kept showing what she could do and how she had a model of behavior, a model of instructions, a model of doing what is right that brought her to the top of the pile. And then, of course, most recently, we have a new Vice President, Kamala Harris, and she demonstrated what it means to do your very, very best and to take advantage of the traditions you brought with you from the nations that you were a part of over the years. That's what this is all about. This evening is all about reflecting on those traditions, reflecting on what is expected of us, reflecting on the pride we have in the United States of America, but the pride we also have in the countries that our parents came from, that we came from. Me came from Jamaica, came from a wonderful country that I still love, but I love this country more than anyone else could possibly love it. The country's done everything it can for me, for the people that you are honoring tonight, and I'm so pleased that you are part of this evening and honoring these two women who are so deserving of your honor.
Jamaica.
Best decision ever.
Feel the sand between your toes and the gentle waves of the sea on your skin. Feel the warm Jamaican breeze lift your spirits and nourish your soul. Escape to exactly what makes your heart beat. You will love every moment. Jamaica, heartbeat of the world. Let's go.
Bajans and Friends for Health and Education. We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization established to promote Barbadian culture and awareness of our island through providing assistance in education and health-related issues. We are committed to helping our Barbados community, other Caribbean islands, as well as various Southern California communities. We have adopted and sponsored All Saints Primary School in St. Peters, Barbados. Donated books to Red Plastic Bag for the Red Foundation. Donated computers to St. Lawrence Primary School to aid in the COVID pandemic. Donated to the Caribbean Hurricane Disaster Fund. Donated to the St. Vincent Direct Relief Fund. Donated to the City of Norwalk Angel Tree Program and Summer Beach Bus Trip. Hosted several health fair events. Each year, Bajans and Friends for Health and Education awards 2 educational scholarships to students of Barbadian heritage, or club members and their immediate families. Each year, a book scholarship is awarded in memory of Ivan and Cordelia Daniel. To preserve our cultural heritage, each year we celebrate Barbados' independence with our scholarship and awards banquet in November. We travel up the coast to Santa Barbara, where we enjoy Bajan food and fellowship on the beach in June. We celebrate the delicious food of Barbados in July at our annual fish fry. We gather for a day filled with games, music, and food at our picnic in September. All of the money that we raise goes directly to supporting the Bajan and local Southern California communities and schools. From our scholarships, supporting of teachers and schools, by donating supplies, and much more, we strive to give back. Help us make a difference. Every donation counts and enable us to do more. To donate, visit our website, bajansandfriends.com. Thank you. Today, Bajans and Friends for Health and Education celebrates Shirley Chisholm.
American politician, first Black woman to serve in Congress and to run for the president for the Democratic Party.
Educator, author,
outspoken,
resilient trailblazer,
Barbadian descent, community activist.
Thank you, Shirley Chisholm.
It is with great honor and the utmost pleasure of introducing Mr. Eric Hinton Holder. Mr. Holder was born on January the 21st, 1951 in the Bronx, New York. He earned his high school diploma and a Regent Scholarship from Stuyvesant High School. Mr. Holder received his BA degree in American History from Columbia University, where he became active in civil rights. He graduated from Columbia Law School in 1976. As a law student, Mr. Holder clerked for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and the Department of Justice's Criminal Division in 1974 and 1975. The Department of Justice clerkship led to his first job after law school. In this position, Mr. Holder prosecuted public officials accused of corruption. In 1988, Mr. Holder was nominated by former President Ronald Reagan to become an associate judge of the Supreme Court of the District of Columbia, where he presided over civil and criminal trials. He resigned from his judgeship in 1993 to accept President Bill Clinton's appointment as U.S. Attorney in 1997 for the District of Columbia, becoming the first African American to serve in that position. During his 4-year tenure, he created a domestic violence unit, implemented a community prosecution project, and developed Operation Ceasefire, a program aimed at getting guns out of the hands of criminals. In 2007, Mr. Holder joined Barack Obama's presidential campaign as a senior advisor and served on the 2008 Vice Presidential Selection Committee. On December 1, 2008, President-elect Barack Obama nominated Mr. Holder to become the 82nd Attorney General and the first African American to hold that post as Attorney General. Mr. Holder supported LGBTQ rights and initiated a crusade against racial profiling. In August 2014, Mr. Holder became controversial again when he ordered the Department of Justice to investigate events surrounding the death of unarmed Black teenager Michael Brown at the hands of Ferguson, Missouri police officer Darren Wilson. He ordered the DOJ to investigate possible civil rights violations related to the shooting and excessive force Ferguson police used against Brown supporters following the incident. On September 25, 2014, President Obama accepted Mr. Holder's resignation as Attorney General. Mr. Holder's career as public service spanned almost 40 years. I must say I'm a proud Barbadian, and Mr. Holder is of Barbadian descent. His favorite vacation spot is on the beautiful island of Barbados. The name Eric means sole ruler, powerful. It is associated with kings of Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. Mr. Holder, you exemplify the name, and your accomplishments show the true character of leadership.
Thank you for inviting me to participate in this tribute to one of my idols, Shirley Chisholm. In particular, I want to thank Michelle Greenidge and the Bajan Friends for Health and Education, as well as the Caribbean Heritage Organization for including me in this event. You know, as a son of Barbados, I am proud of Congresswoman Chisholm and am grateful for her life's work, which made my career possible. She was an accomplished, dynamic, pioneering woman who was unafraid to speak truth to power. The strength of her example opened doors for countless others and dispelled harmful notions concerning Black people and women held by too many in our society. She made the nation more fair. There is a direct link between Shirley Chisholm and Kamala Harris. There is a direct link between Shirley Chisholm and Barack Obama. There is the most direct link between Shirley Chisholm and me. We are all beneficiaries of her vision and her courage, but at the time she occupied the national stage, she was held up to me by my Beijing parents as to what was expected of intelligent, hardworking West Indians, what was made possible by commitment and dedication to a cause. As a young man, I marveled at her audacious status quo. She made this nation better. Now, I've tried in my public service to emulate Shirley Chisholm and use whatever power I've had in the way that she did, in service to the people. More than ever, this nation needs the power of the example of Shirley Chisholm. But we've made great progress. This is still a country bedeviled by racism and sexism, a place where too many people are denied opportunities to which all are entitled. You know, in our continuing struggle for equality, there are going to be hard times. There will be defeats. We must look to the work and the dedication of Shirley Chisholm to bolster us, to strengthen us in our resolve to make America a more just place. A great West Indian, a proud Bajan, Shirley Chisholm showed us the way. It is our obligation to follow her example. Thank you.
Long time ago, back when fall had teeth, West Indians had been sending their children into the world, and boy, did they leave their mark on it. Denmark Vesey, planning revolts, one of the founding members of the AME Church, Thomas Alexandre Dumas, the first Black general in European history, Marcus Garvey, Bob Marley, the Johnson brothers would lift every voice and sing. And Queen Mary, if we don't get equal rights, we burning it all down. Queen Nanny, you ain't enslaving me and mine. If you think you're bad, come. Cecily Tyson, Kamala Harris, and Shirley Chisholm. And what Shirley Chisholm say? If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Where do you think all of that come from? I think it started when they were small. You know, when mother and father and brother and sister and uncle, tanty, godmother, godfather, grandmother and grandfather would pass on this wisdom, these kernels of wisdom in little sentences. You know, like when you're small and somebody tell you to do something, but you ain't doing it. And what auntie might say, you don't hear by your ear, you're going to hear by your behind. And if you think you're getting away with something because nobody ain't saying nothing, and you're doing it for a period of time, and you're like, your uncle might say, oh, water cooking for fish, but fish don't know. Now, one of the most important tenets of West Indian culture is gratitude. You have to be grateful for what you have. And if you have something and you're complaining or you misusing it, your auntie might say, dog playing with what cat want. And it is understood that success comes over a period of time. It ain't instant. So one make full basket. And if you can't walk fast, you take your time and run. And when you're doing something, be thorough. You can't bury the man and leave his foot out the door. And understand, no matter what you think you hide in, no matter what you think nobody don't know, moonlight don't run, but sunlight don't catch it. And as you're forming relationships, your grandmother may say, pick your friends wisely. If you want your privacy, you don't pick somebody where they bring go carry come or where they mouth ain't got no back door. And you must always be aware of wolves in sheep's clothing, because you might be sorry for Margadog, but Margadog could turn run bite you. And your character will be revealed in adversity, because only when the wind blow you see fall bottom. And somebody drunk, listen to what he say, because drunk man talk what he think when he's sober. And so you're getting older now, and you're looking for boyfriend and girlfriend, but you ain't really quite sure if this is the one or that is the one, and you want to go someplace. Your mother might say, I beg you don't take son to the beach. And maybe you're dating for a while and you're about to give up and you're like, man, I can't find the right person for me. Your grandfather might say, don't worry, honey, every bread guy eat cheese. And let's say you bring home somebody and that person ain't really quite up to snuff. Your mother might say, I didn't clear a road for monkey to run on. And before you commit, maybe this is the one. Aha, your mother might sit you down and say, remember, child, there are 3 kinds of rings, you know. There's the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffer ring, just so that you're aware. And to manage your money, you might hear them say, don't hang your hat higher than your hand could reach. And remember, don't follow fashion, because follow fashion monkey can't buy soup. And when you have children of your own and you're complaining how he doing this and she doing that, don't worry. Your father gonna remind you, sheep don't bring goat. And so all in all, this wisdom they dropping on you, where they tell you, when your neighbor bed catch fire, wet yours. Be fair with people, get Jackie jacket. And remember, be aware of those selling you anything, because a fisherman won't tell you he fished them stink. Don't spit up in the sky because it might fall in your face. And be of good character. Let people know, because everybody understand, every monkey know what tree to climb. And understand that people have different experiences. You can't always know what somebody going through, because rock stone in the water don't know the suffering of rock stone in the sun. And remember who you are. Remember what you're worth, because when somebody see jackass, they will write it. And all in all, the bottom line is you have to always pick sense out of nonsense, and manners will take you around the wall even if you ain't got a penny in your pocket. Aha, wheel bend, story end.
We are going to hear right now from Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett. One can see the parallels between Stacey's story and Shirley's. She has a record of firsts that are now part of the historical record. But like Shirley, she is a woman inspired by her ancestors and rooted in the quest for a more equitable world in which the idea of justice serves all of the people. As Shirley once said, women must become revolutionaries, unwilling to accept the old, traditional roles and stereotypes. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Honorable Stacey Plaskett.
Hello, everyone. I'm Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, and I'd like to wish you all a happy Caribbean Heritage Month. As a Caribbean American and representative of the Virgin Islands of the United States, this month means a great deal to me. It's a chance to celebrate the history, culture, food, and music that helped shape me into the person that I am today. From Carnival to Transfer Day and the many other holidays, celebrations, festivals, food, gatherings, another thing that shaped me was women of the Caribbean. My mother, grandmother, aunts, cousins, all played their roles. But another influence was, of course, Shirley Chisholm. As the first Black woman elected to Congress in 1968, and the first woman and African American to seek the nomination for President of the United States from one of the 2 major political parties in 1972, she has been an inspiration of mine for years. In her famous words, she said, "If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair." My modus operandi in Congress has been not just bring a folding chair, but put that chair close to the serving dishes so you and yours will get fed at that table. Shirley Chisholm inspired me to run for office, to become a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and to fight every single day for my home, my people in the Virgin Islands and throughout the Caribbean. We've seen many leaders of the Caribbean descent throughout the years, such as Sheila Jackson Lee, Frederica Wilson, and my fellow Brooklynite Yvette Clarke. Because of Shirley Chisholm's groundbreaking work, we have 2 Black women serve on both recent impeachment trials, and I became the first non-voting member of a territory to do so. Additionally, across the country, we've seen a new generation of Black political leaders do amazing things, while a legion of vital Black women voters push for long neglected reforms. But Black women are still vastly underrepresented nationally among political candidates, making only 2% of challengers to incumbents. While having a Caribbean American woman as vice president is absolutely a game changer, we must make sure that our community has the opportunities that all Americans enjoy to solidify wealth creation, economic development, educational parity, and to eliminate health disparities. We must have Caribbean women winning at every level and in multiple counties, states, territories, and at the federal level. I know we can do this together. As we celebrate this Caribbean Heritage Month, I'd like to honor, thank, and remember Shirley Chisholm for blazing a path forward for all of us. Thank you.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Dr. Claire Nelson, founding president of the Institute of Caribbean Studies and convening chair for the Movement for National Caribbean American Heritage Month. What a blessing it is to be celebrating this 16th official outing of the month, due in large part to the leadership of my shero, Congresswoman Barbara Lee. A community advocate and small business owner, Congresswoman Barbara Lee was first elected to Congress in 1998, and her courageous leadership is legendary. She inherited an unbought and unbossed spirit from her political mother, the Honorable Shirley Chisholm, and she brought this spirit to her change-making. She has always worked to ensure policies that comprise a for the people agenda, which is why she's been a champion of so many Caribbean causes. Well, as the mother of National Caribbean American Heritage Month, I want the world to know that since 2004, Congresswoman Barbara has been playing doula and godmother through the late stages of gestation and birth of this dream when she tabled the first resolution. She reintroduced the resolution in the 109th Congress, H. Connor Res 71, which passed the House in June 2005 and the Senate in February 14, 2006. Best Valentine's Day present ever. So we honor our shared history and we co-create our shared future because of partners and friends like Congresswoman Barbara Lee. So as we pay tribute today to the Honorable Shirley Chisholm, it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of her daughters, one of my mentors, and the godmother of National Caribbean American Heritage Month, the Honorable Congresswoman from California, Barbara Lee.
Hello. I am so happy to be able to bring celebratory greetings to the Caribbean Heritage Foundation as we begin celebrating another Caribbean American Heritage Month. Now, I would not be Congresswoman Barbara Lee had it not been for Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. She opened so many doors for women, African Americans, and people of color to run for elected office. Because of Shirley Chisholm, Kamala Harris is the first African American, the first South Asian American, and the first Jamaican American to hold the second highest office, and of course, the first woman. When I attended Mills College in Oakland, California, I invited Congresswoman Chisholm to Mills College to address the Black Student Union as the first African American woman elected to Congress. But lo and behold, she was also running for president of the United States. I was immediately inspired by her story. She pushed me to register to vote and to get involved in her campaign. She knew that Black women had unique perspectives and life experiences that would strengthen our country. As she said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Well, I am so proud to say that we have brought our folding chairs, and yes, we are here to stay. There are now 142 women serving in Congress, and Black women are continuing to lead. We have now more than 23 Black women serving in Congress, several of whom are of Caribbean descent and leading on the critical issues in the United States and our neighbors in the Caribbean. That's because of Shirley Chisholm. She was more than the first Black woman elected to Congress. She was more than the first Black woman to run for President of the United States. She should be remembered for what she was, and that was a catalyst for change who was unbought and unbossed. Nearly 50 years after Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm mounted her historic run for president as the first Black woman to do so, we are celebrating the achievements of another history maker and champion for families, immigrants, and communities of color, Vice President Kamala Harris, who was born in my congressional district and raised in my congressional district. How proud we are of her in Oakland and Berkeley, California. Congresswoman Chisholm and Vice President Harris are two shining examples of trailblazing women of Caribbean descent making history. I recently reintroduced my legislation again to recognize June as Caribbean American Heritage Month, and this year's proclamation included Vice President Harris as a historical figure to be recognized. Also, I was so proud to have led to create the beautiful Shirley Chisholm stamp and to have her portrait displayed in a prominent place in the United States Capitol. And now I am so excited to support Congresswoman Yvette Clarke's legislation to honor her legacy with a statue in the United States Capitol. Congresswoman Chisholm showed me, Vice President Harris, and so many to show up and fight for equality and justice and to dismantle racial and gender oppression. In celebration of Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm's legacy and the enormous achievements of Vice President Kamala Harris, let us speak out and do the work for a better world. Let us continue celebrating the accomplishments of the amazing Caribbean American community across the United States. Happy Caribbean American Heritage Month. Thank you again.
A Baptist preacher, a man of God, and a revolutionary leader who is changing the world by rising up to defend our country. When Shirley used to say, "You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, you make progress by implementing ideas." She was speaking of leaders like Senator Warnock. When people asked her for advice, Ms. Chisholm would hold her finger up and say, "Always aim high." And the Honorable Raphael Warnock always reaches for the very highest. Let's hear from Senator Raphael Warnock.
Hello, and thanks to the Caribbean Heritage Organization for inviting me to participate in this virtual celebration. I'm so very proud to be able to join you, especially as you honor the Honorable Kamala Harris, the first woman, the first African American, and the first Asian American Vice President of the United States of America. And I'm equally thrilled to join you as we celebrate the contributions of the incomparable Shirley Chisholm, an icon throughout the diaspora. As the first Black woman ever elected to the Congress, and one of the founding members of the Congressional Black Caucus, Shirley Chisholm wasn't just a trailblazer. She was an architect of the new and emerging American nation, a nation that pushes us closer toward our ideals of justice and equality. Always speaking truth to power, Congresswoman Chisholm pushed our nation to secure the blessings of liberty for all of its citizens. And the rich legacy of her work and her influence is embedded across our country, all the way to the White House. That's why I've joined my friend, New York's Representative Yvette Clarke, in introducing legislation to put a permanent statue of Shirley Chisholm in the U.S. Capitol. It is only fitting for a statue of Shirley Chisholm to reside in the halls of Congress, the institution she changed forever with her wit, her passion, her vision, and her determined leadership. And so I'm glad to have the support of organizations like this one as we work to bring our vision to fruition. So thank you so very much for everything you're doing to keep Shirley Chisholm's legacy alive, and know that you will always have a partner in me. Keep the faith and keep looking up.
Congresswoman Yvette Clarke was born into a family of leaders. Her mom, Dr. Una Clarke, was an important part of Shirley's Brooklyn team. The proud daughter of Jamaican parents, she always leads with a passionate Caribbean style, keeping her heritage in the forefront by working to build a community. Yvette is always quick to remind people about who Shirley Chisholm was, fighting every day to make sure her legacy is recognized, taught, and remembered. Shirley used to say, you have to lead with strength, dignity, and love. I can't think of better words to describe my friend, the Honorable Yvette Clarke. On behalf of the Caribbean Heritage Organization, I am honored to present Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke the inaugural Caribbean Heritage Shirley Chisholm Legacy Award.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke, and I proudly represent New York's 9th District, that's Central and South Brooklyn. And it is such a distinct pleasure and honor to be before you as a recipient of the 2021 Caribbean Heritage Shirley Chisholm Legacy Award as we commemorate Caribbean American Heritage Month. As we are all aware, the Honorable Shirley Anita St. Hill Chisholm was the daughter of Caribbean immigrants, the first Black woman elected to the United States Congress, and the first woman ever to run for the presidency of the United States in a major political party. Congresswoman Chisholm lived her American dream out loud. Her trailblazing leadership, her charismatic persona, in concert with her audacious eloquence and sheer elegance, brought to the world our fight for justice through the embodiment of a petite woman from Brooklyn. And I must say, it brings me a particularly poignant sense of pride to accept the award named in her honor, having fully embraced and built upon the pioneering work that she started and knowing that I'm a product of her legacy. I'm fully vested in the seat in the House of Representatives that was in part represented by the late, great Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. The gravity of holding this historic seat fuels my passion for the people I represent. My commitment and dedication to the well-being and quality of life for the people of my constituency, which is my lifelong home, remains steadfast because my parents equipped me with the activism, political prowess, and empathy required to represent this most magnificent district. As the only Black woman to represent New York State in our congressional delegation, I revel in the opportunity to champion issues such as comprehensive immigration reform and the U.S. Caribbean foreign policy. As such, I serve as co-chair of the House of Representatives Caribbean Caucus, a founding member and co-chair of the newly formed Haiti Caucus, and the chairperson of the Congressional Black Caucus Immigration Task Force. I execute in these roles due to the fierce advocacy and immeasurable resource of unyielding support in my corner, the proud people of my district, and the rich tapestry of the Caribbean diaspora that is global. As I build upon my work in Congress, my hope is that my legacy will be viewed as that of inspiration, empowerment, and an unwavering commitment to New York and my beloved Caribbean American community who have guided the way I govern myself and lead our people. Accepting this award is indeed a distinct honor and privilege, and I wear it proudly with distinction as a badge of honor. To paraphrase the immortal words of the Honorable Shirley Anita St. Hill Chisholm, I want history to remember me as a Black woman who lived in the 20th century, and might I add 21st, and who dared to be herself. I want to be remembered as a catalyst for change in America. So let me thank the Caribbean Research Center at Medgar Evers College, the Caribbean Heritage Organization, The Institute for Caribbean Studies in Washington, D.C., the Los Angeles Caribbean American community, and all those involved in organizing today's celebration of Caribbean American heritage. So to everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong, and be blessed. Wear your mask and get vaccinated. And most importantly, remember, if they won't offer you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. One love, everyone. Walk good.
If they don't give you a seat on the table, you can always bring yours to be a part of it. It's all about keeping the unity and diversity. Hi, I'm Denise Babula, the founding director, instructor, and choreographer of Jaya Devi Arts, Inc. Our mission is to preserve, promote, present, educate, and unite the arts and culture from Trinidad, Guyana, Jamaica, Suriname, and other parts of the Caribbean where our Indian ancestors arrived. We are Indo-Caribbean people, and our ancestors came from India. In India, we have Bollywood style of dance and classical Indian. And with that, we then travel across the Kalapani, the dark waters, all the way to the Caribbean. Jaya Devi dancers will present to you our ancestral dance, which is the classical Indian and Bollywood dance. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this.
रघुकुल रीत सदा चली आई प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए It's been long, तेरी बीन सुने परदेसी. It's been long, तेरी बीन सुने परदेसी. Agin gin 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 मर गई. Agin gin 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 मर गई. मिस करती रहती तुझको पर तू मेरा फोन न पकड़े. I'm the queen of the jungle फिर भी मुझसे ज्यादा तेरे नखरे. मिस करती रहती तुझको पर तू मेरा फोन न पकड़े. I'm the queen of the jungle फिर भी मुझसे ज्यादा तेरे नखरे. इतना भी बाप न खा उड़ती मुसाफिर फ्लोर पे आ. आकर के देख ले कैसे याद करूं तुझे पल पल. It's been long, तेरे संग नचे परदेसी. It's been long, तेरे संग नचे परदेसी. Agin gin 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 मर गई. Agin gin 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 मर गई.
Our ancestors who left India and came to the Caribbean, where our Bollywood and classical dance from India are now influenced by the Latin and the Afro. So with that, we have our own Bollywood style called chutney. The Jaya Devi dancers, who are Alicia Dow, Vadasha Rupnarai, Shania Dukhi, Ashley Dindyal, Varuna Rampasad Singh, and Tiffany Ramkisoon will all demonstrate to you what chutney dancing is. They will represent each country, starting with Puerto Rico to represent all the Latin countries, and then move on to Guyana, Trinidad, Suriname, Jamaica, and then we'll unite together in a chutney dance. So I hope you will absolutely enjoy the unity of the Indo-Caribbean islands in the Caribbean.
Cuando yo la vi, dije si esa mujer fuera para mí, perdóname, te lo tenía que decir. Está dura, 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 que está dura, mano arriba porque tú te ves bien. Está dura, mamacita, te fuiste de nivel. Dura, mira cómo brilla tu piel. Está dura, dímelo, dímelo cómo es que está dura. Yo te doy un 20 de dieta. Dura, dura, dura. Tú eres la máquina del baile. Si no tienes a nadie, vente pa' mi brazo. पगड़ी पगड़ी कहे दुल्हराम पगड़ी के मांगनवा है यही दुल्हा रे अपनी मैया से जन्मल उपड़ा से लाल मुनिया रे यही दुल्हा रे अपनी मैया से जन्मल उपड़ा से लाल मुनिया रे
You see her poo wine and swing she waist, watching the lower. All the ladies joining share. If you see her poo wine and swing she waist, watching the lower. All the ladies joining share. She can't wait to patch in lower. Can't wait to throw the dart. Can't wait to patch in lower. Can't wait to throw the dart. If you see her poo wine and swing she waist, watching the lower. All the ladies joining share. If you see her poo wine and swing she waist, watching the lower. All the ladies joining share.
When you go my Indian wedding, all you see is woman whining. When you see the lawa batching, all you see is blue grinding. Guyana, Trinidad, what you see?
It is an honor and a pleasure to be here with honoring Shirley Chisholm and Vice President Kamala Harris. On behalf of everyone at Jayadevi Arts Inc., we'd like to say thank you and have a happy Caribbean Heritage Month.
Hello, I am Wayne A.I. Frederick, President of Howard University. At Howard, there's a saying that I often hear invoked by our students and alumni. We stand on the shoulders of greats. At once inspiring and humbling, this expression reminds us that as grandiose and audacious as our ambitions might be, we are not starting from scratch. We pick up where the great ones who came before us left off. But at the same time, we are obliged to move the ball down the field, as it were, so that subsequent generations can get closer and closer to the end zone. At first, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and then in turn, we become the giants whose shoulders the next generation can stand upon. Howard alumna and Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, inhabits a unique echelon in this human pyramid of legendary figures. The way she's spoken of with such reverence on Howard's campus, it is clear that she's inspiring the next generation. It's also clear that her accomplishments are already serving as a foothold for the next generation to climb even higher than the heights she has reached herself. But at the same time, we cannot forget the figures who came before Vice President Harris, those individuals who taught her to find purchase in precarious and often inhospitable terrain. To be sure, Vice President Harris blazed her own trail in life, but she was able to chart a course by first following the footsteps laid down by pioneers of an earlier day and age. While Kamala Harris has many role models who help guide her ascendancy in political life, I know that the Honorable Shirley Chisholm holds a special place of honor in the Vice President's wing of the White House right now. Like Vice President Harris, Congresswoman Chisholm had the great burden and privilege of representing many different communities. As the first Black woman ever elected to Congress, the Black and female communities claimed her as their own. As a daughter of Caribbean immigrants, she was claimed by the Caribbean community and by second-generation Americans. Like so many Americans with Caribbean heritage, Shirley Chisholm understood what it meant to those who identified with and felt connected to her to have one of their own in a position of power. Whether she was sitting at the chair at the table or in a folding chair next to it, Caribbean Americans knew that Honorable Shirley Chisholm was going to have her voice heard, and by extension, their voices would be heard too. Howard University has always been a home for the Caribbean diaspora, a place where people from the Caribbean or Caribbean descent can explore who they are, where they came from, and where they're going. I made my way from Trinidad and Tobago to Howard University at the age of 16, following in the footsteps of many Howard alumni and faculty who had tread that same well-worn path. There was Dr. Carlton Alexis, interim president of Howard, the Honorable Eric Williams, the first Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and a member of Howard's political science department, and Stokely Carmichael, the civil rights activist. There were also the nurses who worked alongside my mother in the Port of Spain Hospital, and the doctors, many of whom had received their educations here at Howard before returning to Trinidad and Tobago to serve their communities. Of course, you have Howard alumni who hail from all parts of the Caribbean, including Keith Mitchell, the current Prime Minister of Grenada. And the list goes on today as Caribbean students continue to flock to the Mecca, leaving an indelible mark on our university and campus community. Shirley Chisholm meant so much and so many things to a wide array of people. I admired her unyielding advocacy for her communities that she represented, but I also appreciated her independence from them. She was defined by where she came from, but she was also determined to be defined by what she made of herself, going her own way in this very complicated world. These are the traits that she inspired and cultivated within Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris has in turn inspired others to develop and adopt those same characteristics. While Kamala Harris's vice presidential election was historic because of the communities she represents, we should not overlook her personal and individual attributes that enabled her success, that include her unique charisma, intellect, and experience. It was her drive and dedication that propelled her to achieve extraordinary levels of excellence in all her life's pursuits. And it is these characteristics that those who strive to be like her will seek to replicate in themselves. Today's Howard students, especially those who admire Kamala Harris, owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to Shirley Chisholm as well. Whether they invoke her name or not, whether they know her name or not, they are standing on her shoulders too. As much as any other figure in American history, Shirley Chisholm is deserving of recognition and remembrance. It would be to the benefit of each of us individuals and to society as a whole to internalize and act out her legacy.
Through all my travels, I've realized an island is only as big as its heart. And in my time in Barbados, I've seen the heart of the island, even through the people, through the food, even through the rum. The way we travel has completely changed, but it's the best feeling to know that peace of mind is right within our reach. But I can tell you, my experience here has been so seamless. The guy who's my taxi driver, his name is Big Apple. He has true Bayesian spirit. He's welcomed me into this island, and he's given me the most authentic experience. When it comes to Bayesian food, I am obsessed with breadfruit cuckoo.
This has no business tasting this good.
So I got to try breadfruit cuckoo for the first time on Peg Farm. I had a really good time going to check out the rum tours. If you are a fan of rum punch or just rum cocktails in general, you're gonna have a really good time on that tour. And Barbados, if you do not know, has incredible water. They've got some amazing underwater shipwrecks. The turtles here are beautiful and they feel so friendly. This island has big stories to tell and big moments for you to capture. So when you're ready to reimagine the way you explore, Barbados is open, and so is its heart.
Hi folks, we're back again. You know, I have some really interesting comments here that were passed on to me that I thought would be good for everybody to enjoy. Please bear with me here. Tracy says in this chat, wow, fabulous tributes and information. Another comment said, again, shout out to Miss Shirley. This reminds me of the playwright and actress Ingrid Griffith, unbossed and unbowed. She's awesome. Let's see. Bear with me here. More positive comments. Raquel Marshall, fabulous, smiley face, fabulous presentation. Well done, CHO, TT. Raquel, how did you like that dance? The chutney. Move your right hand, up your right hand. And great performance by the Bajan dancers. I sent participants, oh, this is a good one. I sent participants to the website to purchase t-shirt. One was purchased, yay. Let's have more than one t-shirt purchase, folks. These t-shirts are actually, proceeds will be going to the Shirley Chisholm Institute, the Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute. There's after June, there's a whole big bring your folding chair campaign that they'll be launching along with CHO and other partners, including Bajans and Friends of Bajans and Friends for Health and Education. And what we want to do with monies from these t-shirts is to help the SCCI, Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute, in their endeavors to get, number one, to help Senator Raphael Warnock and Yvette and Congresswoman Yvette Clarke in their efforts to get the Congress to pass the bill to get the statue of Shirley Chisholm erected in the Capitol, in the U.S. Capitol. She deserves a place there, and I'm really glad that all this attention is brought back to her, and we really have to thank our Vice President Kamala Harris. All through history, ever since Shirley Chisholm, women have made, women in politics, I should say, they have really progressed to, to different levels of, in the U.S. Congress, and Vice President Harris has been the only one. There are exceptions. There's Barbara Lee. Congresswoman Barbara Lee is fantastic. Yvette Clarke, but Vice President Kamala Harris was the first one on a national level to acknowledge Shirley Chisholm's legacy and what she has done, not just for Black women, but for all women. she was one of the co-founders of the Congressional Women Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus. She was one of the co-founders of the National Organization of Women. One of the things that Shirley Chisholm said that I, one of her speeches, I listen to it over and over, it makes me chuckle a lot because I like to chuckle, but it makes me chuckle. She said in this interview that she said that, I didn't have any problems with, it wasn't because I was Black. It was no problem with my color. I had problem with those men, whether they're Puerto Rican men or white men or Black men. They just didn't want me around. They would have meetings. They would not invite me, but I would show up and they'd wonder what I'm doing here. And she would say, you know what? It wasn't me that they were afraid of. It was my mouth. And so we just want to get that legacy going and have her really have a rightful place in American history, which is the world history. This woman has influenced so many. Barack Obama wouldn't the things that she had to go through, and that you saw in the movie that she was not allowed to do. She was not allowed. She was denied to be in the debates, and she had to file lawsuits, and she won. And then what happened? They had her there by herself, hardly any coverage. So yes, please support the Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute, and going forward, the T-shirts that we have called "Bring a Folding Chair." In this age, everybody is saying, "Oh, I want a seat at the table. I want a seat at the table." What if there's no seat there? You bring your own folding chair, right, Barbara? Right, Barbara. So yes. So there were others here, but since over time, I've taken up so much of my time because I get too passionate when I talk about Shirley Chisholm and the Shirley Chisholm Institute. And but the next person that we're going to have is, and you have to help me. Pardon me if I pronounce her name incorrectly. Because she is Zimbabwean American, and unfortunately, as Americans or English-speaking people, we don't take time to learn other, non-English names. So please bear with me. Her name is Danae Gurria. Danae is an actress. She is she's best known for playing the role of Okayi in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You remember her from Black Panther. She's she was the lead warrior woman, fierce warrior woman, and she is also scheduled. She was also in The Walking Dead, and she is slated to have the leading role playing Shirley Chisholm in the upcoming film, the Fighting Shirley Chisholm. You can Google it and hear more about it, but I think right now they're in development because of COVID. They had to put things on hold, but hopefully it will be back and in production very soon. Danae, so ladies and gentlemen, Danae Gurria. I hope I pronounced that right.
Hey everyone, I am so excited to be a part of this celebration of the indomitable, the incomparable Shirley Chisholm. I have been such an admirer of hers for so long. She's been such a source of inspiration for me. I remember the first time I saw the government building named after her right here in New York City, and what pride that filled me with, that a Black woman had created such a legacy, and at such a time. She was someone who defied racism and sexism and defied their very existence and said, why not me? And that the pride and the knowledge, the self-possession that she had, I know came from the fact that she, as a daughter of immigrants like myself, but she being from Barbados, and I've seen the pride and the self-possession that people from Barbados have when I was there. And I love that she brought that into her American legacy and really defied any concepts of her being any less than. And that was something where the idea of bring a folding chair, because because we know that the table is not set with us in mind, but we can define the space and break the barriers and set the table. And that is what she did long ago, but it still resonates as something so important for women of today. And we see the beautiful resonances of this amazing work that she did through our astounding new Vice President, Kamala Harris, who's also a daughter of immigrants and also the daughter of the Caribbean. And I just really am so proud and thankful to be able to see these women's legacy and see how it has resonated in women like myself and all the women and girls coming behind them. So indeed, it is about bringing our folding chair. Racism and sexism try to block us out, but as Shirley showed us, they ain't standing a chance. So thank you so much, and I just really wish I was there to celebrate with you all in person. But let's definitely lift her up and continue to lift her up. Her legacy is unquestionable, undeniable, and indomitable. Thanks so much.
I would like to thank the Caribbean Heritage Organization for asking me to help celebrate two remarkable daughters of the Caribbean. On hearing the names Shirley Chisholm of Guyanese and Bajan heritage and Kamala Harris of Jamaican heritage, we swell with pride. The Honorable Shirley Chisholm in 1972 bravely walked the path of the presidential leadership for the USA as a woman, and as a woman of color, this was a powerful statement. The Honorable Shirley Chisholm's bravado paved the path for Madam Vice President of the USA, Kamala Harris. It is now history. Madam Kamala Harris succeeded and is a woman vice president that helps to lead the USA and indeed the world. This performance of Jamaican folk songs is dedicated to them. Big up the Honorable Shirley Chisholm and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. Please enjoy.
Hello, my name is Dean Fenton, and I am the U.S. Director of Tourism for the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority. And it is with great pride that I introduce the world's famous Kane Mason siblings doing their rendition of Bob Marley's Redemption song. Do enjoy. Thank you.
Wow. What do you get when you cross a Somalian and an Antiguan? You get all those 8 kids, or 8 kids, and they all love they all love music. They all love classical music, even though they also enjoy others. Of course, Bob Marley. They also enjoy reggae music and everything. And I don't know if anyone remembers the one on the cellist, Shakur. Shakur was the one was the young man who played at Harry and Meghan's wedding. So yeah, The next thing that we have here now, we have another giveaway. And for this giveaway, these are things also that if nobody gets the answer for, I'm gonna put them in my chest, my grandchildren hope chest. And it is Ziggy Marley Family Time More. I don't know if you can see that CDs. It's Ziggy Marley and his children. You know, they sing and they sing and just have fun. And then I also have some T-shirts for children, size medium. Yeah, they're all size medium. And the question is, well, you know what? Before we get to that question, yeah, the question is, let's do that. The question is, what was Shirley Chisholm's maiden name? And while Denise is working on that, I'm going to read some more of these comments. Ambassador Shirley Elizabeth Barnes says this is wonderful. Nikki says this is a wonderful event. Thank you. Ambassador Shirley Murphy again said thanks again to all awesome Caribbean Heritage Month. Oh, my thing here is not working. Awesome Caribbean Heritage Month celebration 2021. JC, okay, join them at the New Jersey Carnival Family USA. You didn't give a date for that, Ambassador. And gosh, we got some really Roseanne Myers, she said, I had the privilege of meeting Shirley Chisholm when she visited my school on her last visit to my school. It is a memory that caused me to read the book on her life as at this time I did not know why she was so acclaimed. I feel blessed. And speaking of her book, I have to give credit to Chetwin Rice. Chetwin Rice, he works for CMC, the Caribbean Media Corporation in Barbados. I'm sorry, the Caribbean Media Company in Barbados. Chetwin has been really one of my backbones. Well, there's only one backbone, but you know, on a particular day, he was the backbone for that day. And I thought I knew everything I needed to know about Shirley Chisholm until he told me, you've got to read the book, Unbought and Unbossed. You got to read the book. And folks, I'm telling you, if you can get what you can get, it's on Amazon. I tried to get an original, and they're like over $1,000 now if you can get one at one of the stores. But that book, Unbought and Unbossed, is absolutely wonderful, and I could not put it down. Even with everything I was busy with doing, I could not put it down. Somebody says, Sammy says, what a political lineup. Rashida said, Rashida Muslim is the winner, whatever that means. Sorry, excuse me. Oh. Oh, I just found out what that means, that Rashida Muslim is the winner for that question. And the question is, the answer is Saint Hill. And so Rashida, make sure you give Denise all your contact information so that we can get this off to you. And once again, unfortunately, like I said, because of the of my background here, we didn't kind of practice that. Those shirts, I have some shirts to show you guys here that that's going to be, it's not just the shirt, it's going to be a campaign that the Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute will be doing, will continue to do post-June. It's to just, especially in this day and age, to bring attention to Miss Chisholm's legacy through all the social injustice that are the social reckoning, I should say, that especially the US and the UK are trying to do right now. So get that T-shirt and get that T-shirt and join and donate to the Shirley Chisholm. Oh, you know what? They also need volunteers. I just got a comment that says, Linda Paris, amazing to learn more and to experience the diversity of the artistic practice. Yeah, yes, thank you. And yeah, folks need, yeah, the Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute is where you need to go. Plug in with them. They always need volunteers because we need to highlight Shirley Chisholm and the work that she's done. And they have some wonderful things coming up with this Bring a Folding Chair campaign. And as you know, as you see on the t-shirts, there's a space between Miss Chisholm and our Madam Vice President. That's because in between there's all these other people that she has paved the way for, and she's still leading them, and through her legacy at the Shirley Chisholm Cultural Institute, which, like I said, CHO is very honored to be working with them post-June to get the word out about Miss Chisholm, because I know this term has been used a lot, woke, being a woke, and I don't like it, but unfortunately that's the only term I can think of, is that we here in the US, we are awoke. We know now who the real heroes are, and Shirley Chisholm is the hero of women, and women of all stripes, and Black women in this country especially, and Blacks on a whole in there, but that statue needs to get built. Call your congressman, your congressperson, man, woman, and let's get that built, and let's support her legacy. Barbara had explained all the things that they've done already, and COVID wasn't very kind to them, like all of us. COVID wasn't kind to last year, so whatever support that you can afford them, please do that. And will my guy tell me what I got to do next? Is that it for me? That's it for me. Okay. He said that's it for me, and I just say thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for bringing your folding chair. Hopefully you did, and you're sitting on your folding chair, or even in your mind, you have your folding chair, and for spending your evening with us. And I hope you enjoy the entertainment. And with the entertainment, there's a lesson in everything. Any kind of Heritage Month in America, whether it's African American Heritage Month, in Black History Month in February, Asian Pacific in May, Caribbean Heritage in June, Hispanic Heritage in September, October. It's a time for everyone to learn. It's an education time to learn about these different cultures that have made this such a wonderful, wonderful nation. So I hope you were able to learn something from this evening and also enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Natural beauty, Tell, no, I never been someone shy until I seen your eyes. Still I had to try, yeah. Oh yes, let me get my words right and then approach you. Woman, I'll treat you like a man is supposed to. You'll never have to cry, no. I know everyone can relate to when they find a special someone. And she's royal, yeah, so royal. And I want her in my life. I never knew anyone so one of a kind, no. The way she moved to her own beat. She has the qualities of a queen. She's a queen. Ooh, ooh, what a natural beauty. No need no makeup to be a cutie. She's a queen. She's a queen. And when they ask what a good woman's made of, she's not afraid and ashamed of who she is. She's royal, yeah, so royal. And I need her in my life. I never knew anyone so one of a kind until the night that I see your rise.
Love at first sight. Ooh, I met a girl this morning, and she was beauty to my eyes. I asked her where she from, she tell me in the tropics. She asked me what's my name, I tell her I am Connie. And I said, girl, tell me what's your name, and she tell me that her name is Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Ooh, Lord, smile for me, Jamaica. And never you cry, here am I. Yeah, I'm here for you, Jamaica. Dry your eyes, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. I grew up in a place called La Vega. Spanish Town rocking, over prison over. I grew up in a place called Ensom City. Spanish Town grooving, everybody nice. Spanish Town, me born, that's where me come from. From me looking at my face, you see a De La Vegan. Well, I said, come Max and Glazer, Anti-Federation. Strictly roots and culture play per nice station. Yo, yeah, me letting all you, them on the money promoter. We are doing this, so the dance done, I'm ready. Spain Town original. I'm a neighbor string cut over Spanish Town hospital. To me, mama name, Nana Spanish Town original. I'm a papa name, Kaneko Spanish Town original. I'm a granny name, Peggy Spanish Town original. Them call her sticker cause she don't normal. For your grandson, chronic such a field marshal. If I dance at school, we are the principal. And now we are the real microphone officials. Give them a new style. Sperling in a me goodies, I'm well physical. Well, I'm offering proper chronic microphone official. Me read me Bible every day, and some well biblical. I meditate in the morning, some well spiritual. I said the original chronics representing from prison oval. Live and direct, hear me now. I grew up in a place called De La Vega. De La Vega. World of reggae music on ya. Keep me rocking with me daughter. World of reggae music on ya. Never left you, never know, sir. Now just be nice and hold your space. I won't entertain no more disgrace. Out in the street, they call it murder. When rhythm's passing out your head. Reggae music on ya, Keep me rocking with me daughter, World of reggae music on ya.